The town of Arlington is looking to track and survey its fossil fuel and energy use in conjunction with the town's Energy Committee, following up on a town meeting article voters approved earlier. The town is looking to hire someone to help build and maintain a computer spreadsheet that will track past energy use. The town's Energy Committee has been tracking the town's energy use and carbon sequestration from town forests and other strategies up to now. The Arlington Select Board, at its last meeting on July 24th, approved an RFP, or request for proposal, for hiring such a consultant and spreadsheet manager.
That opinion has been built into this process from the very beginning. There's a reason that it's taken like 18 months to build this spreadsheet. And I've spent hours and hours and hours, and I have many, many hours to work on this yet. But can I say that we have a spreadsheet that is a public record that I can send to you in my email that has this methodology and has this, this paper or this project is being done, and this is all in the minutes of the Energy Committee, that in such a way as we expect there to be academic papers that are going to be able to be written from the accounting in this paper.
Okay, so I would support doing this if you think this would make the information. I mean, this person is not gathering the information; they're processing it, presenting it, analyzing it. But to my mind, it would be really good if we ended up with something that had other eyes look at it, had other eyes vet it, so it isn't just the Energy Committee saying, this is what it is, because it can be the best spreadsheet in the world, and if it doesn't have good intellectual foundations, which I know is part of what you've been trying to provide, I just think that I would really like to have some kind of outside review, independent review of what they come up with.
There's a motion made by Cynthia and seconded by Jamie to approve the energy study labor RFP as presented in the letter dated July 25th, 2023. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Can you fix spreadsheet?
Yeah.
For more background on this, we spoke with Town Administrator Nick Zayas and Karen Lee, a member of the town's Energy Committee.
So this carbon study is a complete accounting of the town's carbon emissions to the greatest exactitude as we can glean from publicly available data and using properly vetted and generally accepted methodologies. So the Energy Committee members have taken pains to go through the all of the bills associated with all of the things that could be emitting carbon and any of the other pieces that need to be brought together to get an exact picture, or a reasonably exact picture of what the town is emitting. That includes understanding how much fuel we're using in the park, how much fuel we're using for our plow trucks, what is the emissions of the electricity usage that the town has. What about big equipment and small equipment, and making sure that every little piece of the government's carbon footprint is fully accounted for. So at the end of this project, the committee will have a spreadsheet that shows with a reasonable degree of exactitude exactly how much carbon the town is committing to, and that can give us insights onto where the means of it, or where the areas of improvement are. That the entire point of this was to help us understand where our carbon is coming from and find ways that we can lessen our climate impact and hopefully also save the taxpayers some money.
So what prompted the Energy Committee to ask for this study of carbon usage in Arlington?
In 2021, a small group of activists got together and put the question before the town, and at the town meeting, the annual town meeting, the populace determined that they wanted the town operations to be carbon neutral by 2027 based on 2020 carbon emissions level. So in order to achieve that goal, we needed to know first how many carbon dioxide molecules we were emitting, and all the town operations. And so we got together and have been doing lots of research and study, and it's a slow process because we're volunteers, so it has taken a while. The analysis for 2020 was completed about a year ago, but we're expanding it to include the most recent years after that, so 21, 22, and next year we'll have 23. And also we're forecasting it into the future, which none of the other carbon models are doing. There are lots of other carbon footprint calculators out there. The EPA has one. The College of Millbury students did an excellent one last year. So a lot of people are working on carbon footprint analyses, but ours is a little different because it's very detailed, and we're looking at emissions from every source that we can possibly think of, and we're getting down to the actual kilowatt hour, and also we're studying very careful the actual impacts of all those types of sources of energy. So it has been a very detailed process, a very interesting process, and part of that process and our spreadsheet that we're working on, we call it the spreadsheet, is we are coming up with formulas that will help us estimate how many carbon emissions we will have after we do certain offsets.
The Vermont Council on Rural Development, a nonprofit dedicated to the support of locally defined progress of Vermont's rural communities, will be providing the funding for the project, which is estimated to cost around $1,500. The spreadsheet will enable yearly tracking of energy used, and in a manner that's easy to execute by a volunteer energy committee or town resident. Some of the required editable input cells include fuel prices, amounts in cost, and amounts in energy use. It will also provide spaces for projections of energy savings based on known projection metrics. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.